They were never supposed to open that curtain. It was one of the only rules in the house. Don't touch the red velvet curtain at the end of the hall, their grandmother warned with a voice that was calm but final. She didn't yell, she never needed to. Her words carried the weight of 1,000 secrets, and everyone, kids, guests, even the dogs, somehow understood that the curtain was off limit. But rules, especially strange ones, were made to be broken. It wasn't just a curtain, it was a question. One that whispered every time someone passed by. Why that curtain? Why red? Why velvet? Why always drawn shut with those ornate brass hooks, as though hiding something sacred or dangerous? Leo, the youngest of 3 siblings, had been curious for years. Now, at 17, standing alone in the hallway while the rest of the family was at the grocery store, he felt a tan, invisible tug, not from the curtain, but from whatever was behind it. He tried to ignore it. Really, he did. But after years of walking past it, imagining everything from hidden staircases to portals to other dimensions, his restraint frayed. His hand, almost without permission, reached forward. The velvet was softer than he expected. Cooler, too. He pulled it back, and behind it, nothing. Just a wall. His heart pounded. He tapped again. Yep, hollow. A small seam revealed itself. There was a door behind the wall, and that door hadn't been opened in a very, very long time. Panic and excitement wrestled in his chest. Should he stop? He didn't. With trembling fingers, Leo found the edge of the wall's veneer and pried it open with a pocket knife he found in his dad's old toolbox. Dust fell in soft clouds. The hidden door creaked open, and the air that greeted him was stale, still, and heavy with the scent of forgotten years. It was a room, small, completely windowless, only lit by the hallway light filtering through the crack behind him. At first, it just looked like a storage space boxes, a rocking chair, old photo frames stacked against the wall. But then he saw it. In the center of the room, a mannequin. It wore an old costume glittering blue with gold embroidery and a long tattered cape. Stage lights reflected off tiny rhinestones embedded in the sleeves. A dusty mask hung on a hook nearby, with faded red lipstick smudged on the inside. It looked like a performer had just stepped out for a moment and never returned. Leo stepped closer. A small journal sat on a table next to the mannequin, with yellowed pages curling at the edges. He opened it. The handwriting was neat, careful. The first page read, June 12th, 1964. Tonight was the last performance. They clapped, they cheered, but I didn't feel anything. The applause doesn't reach me anymore. I miss her. I miss who I was with her. Leo's breath caught. Her? He flipped through more pages. The journal belonged to his grandmother. And with every page, the woman he thought he knew began to unravel, not into someone awful, but someone astonishing. Before she was the warm, apple pie baking cardigan wearing woman who watched murder. She wrote religiously at 7 p.m. She had been a stage actress. Not just any actress, Thea Bellamy, a name he only recognized from a poster in a local antique shop. A star from the golden age of theater. Glamorous, bold, mesmerizing. She had been famous, and then she disappeared. No one ever knew why. The journal told him why. Her final entries were filled with grief. The loss of a woman named Iris, her partner in both performance and life, though the world never saw them that way. They had performed in secret, loved in secret. And when Iris died in a car crash in 1964, Thea's world imploded. She couldn't go back to the stage, not without her. So she didn't. She moved to a quiet town, changed her name, and built a new life where no one asked questions about velvet curtains or why she never married. Leo's legs nearly gave out. He sat on the dusty floor, reading every word as though trying to reconstruct a broken stained glass window of a woman he only now realized he never fully knew. When his family returned home and found him, he was still in the hidden room, holding the journal. His grandmother, now 83, stood in the hallway with her shopping bag in hand, looking at the open curtain and then at Leo. For a moment, no one spoke. Then she walked in slowly, sat in the rocking chair, and said, "I wondered how long it would take one of you to find it." Her voice was quiet, not scolding. That night, over tea and the soft ticking of the kitchen clock, she told them everything about Iris. The performances, the choice to walk away from the spotlight, and how she had spent the next 5 decades keeping a part of herself buried, safe behind a curtain. Leo asked her if she ever regretted it. She stirred her tea, her eyes focused on the swirling milk clouding the amber liquid. Then she smiled. "No," she said, "but I do wish I could have told you sooner. We hide the parts of ourselves we're most afraid the world won't love, and sometimes we forget that hiding it keeps us from being fully loved at all." She passed away 6 months later. At her funeral, Leo wore a small pin in the shape of a theater mask. He gave a eulogy, not just for the grandmother he grew up with, but for Thea Bellamy, the woman behind the curtain. A week after the funeral, Leo returned to the hidden room. He didn't close the curtain. Instead, he turned the space into a small tribute-framed photos, her costume on display, the journal in a glass case, and above it all, a plaque that read, "To those who hide, may you someday find someone brave enough to look behind the curtain. Because the truth is, we all have one. And sometimes, the most beautiful parts of who we are live in the shadows, just waiting for the right light, the right moment, or the right person to finally pull the curtain back."